At 2:17 a.m., inside room 214 of the Super 8 on Albert Street in Regina, Melissa Carter couldn't breathe. The digital clock on the nightstand glowed red against the dark. The heater clicked on. Outside, semi-trucks hissed along Highway 1. Inside that room, something pressed down on her back with enough force to pin her to the mattress. Melissa would later say she heard the door open first, a soft mechanical click, then the slow creak of hinges. But when she tried to move, to roll over, to speak, to reach for her niece, her body refused. "I wasn't dreaming," she told a friend weeks later. "I know what dreams feel like." She sleeps on her stomach, always has. That night, it may have saved her from seeing what climbed onto her back. She felt an elbow plant beside her head. A hand, heavy, deliberate, pushed her down. Her lungs strained. Then came the breath, warm, close, wet against her ear, and whispering. She can't remember the words, only the certainty that something intelligent was inches from her face. Across the room, 19-year-old Emily Carter slept undisturbed. Or so Melissa thought. By sunrise, there would be no fingerprints, no forced entry, no surveillance footage. Just two women, one locked hotel room, and a story that doesn't align with sleep science as neatly as skeptics would like. Because this wasn't the only hotel room where something sat on that bed, and this wasn't the only witness. Melissa Carter has always described herself as sensitive. Not dramatic, not attention-seeking, sensitive. Born and raised in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, she grew up believing she could sense things others ignored, changes in atmosphere, tension in rooms, presences she couldn't explain. By her early 30s, she had stopped talking about it publicly. People roll their eyes at that kind of thing. But family road trips were different. Every year, Melissa and her relatives made the 9-hour drive west to Regina to shop, visit friends, and pick up her brother, Daniel Carter, who worked seasonal construction jobs in the city. The route was familiar: Highway 10 to the Trans-Canada, long stretches of prairie under open sky. They rotated between budget hotels, affordable, predictable, usually uneventful. On November 14, 2019, Melissa and her niece Emily left Yorkton at 5:06 p.m. It was already dark by the time they hit the highway. The temperature hovered just below freezing. They arrived in Regina shortly after 2 a.m., exhausted. They checked in to the Super 8 on Albert Street. Security cameras in the lobby would later confirm their arrival time, 2:11 a.m. No one followed them upstairs. The room was warm, clean, quiet. Melissa remembers thinking how comfortable the bed felt. Nothing felt wrong, until it did. Melissa doesn't know what woke her. It wasn't a loud noise, not a crash, not a scream. It was subtle, a shift in the air. Then the sound, the hotel room door opening, slowly. Every traveler knows the distinct rhythm of those doors, the latch releasing, the soft hydraulic resistance, the faint suction as it seals shut. She heard both, open, close. Her eyes were shut, her body heavy with sleep, but she was conscious. She tried to lift her head, nothing. Tried to call out to Emily. Her throat tightened, only a strained whisper escaped. Skeptics might call it sleep paralysis, a neurological state where the brain wakes before the body. It can produce hallucinations, pressure on the chest, even a sensed presence. But Melissa insists something physical climbed onto her. She felt the mattress dip, felt the weight distribute across her spine. "I know the difference between a dream and pressure," she later said. The elbow near her temple, the hand pressing down, the breath in her ear. This wasn't vague, it was anatomical. She began silently praying. Seconds stretched, the weight lifted. Air rushed into her lungs.
She rolled over fast. The room was empty. The door was closed, deadbolt engaged. Emily was still asleep. After checking the room, bathroom light off, curtains drawn, hallway silent, Melissa lay back down. She had less than 5 hours before the drive home. Her pulse gradually slowed. At some point before dawn, she heard Emily's voice. Soft, calm, close. "I'm just going to sit here for a while." Melissa felt movement behind her head, a pillow shifting, the subtle compression of weight on the mattress. She assumed Emily had been frightened by the noise. Maybe she heard Melissa struggling. Maybe she needed comfort. She didn't turn around. She let it be. Morning came, gray and cold. Over stale coffee in the lobby, Melissa told Emily what happened. The door, the pressure, the whispering. Then she asked casually, "Why did you come sit on my bed?" Emily's face changed. "She didn't," she said. "She hadn't woken up at all." Security footage reviewed by a hotel employee known to the family showed no entry into their room between 2:12 a.m. and 7:48 a.m. No one entered, no one left. Melissa refused to stay there again. But the story didn't end at the Super 8. 2 months later, January 22nd, 2020, different trip, same city. This time they stayed at the Canada's Best Value Inn on Victoria Avenue East, room 225. Melissa hesitated before booking, but budget mattered. The first night passed quietly. The second did not. Around 3:03 a.m., Melissa opened her eyes after hearing the bathroom door click shut. She saw Emily walk across the dim room and sit on her bed. Melissa frowned. Why was she up? She rolled onto her side, almost drifting back to sleep. Then she froze. Emily was still asleep, under the covers, unmoved. Melissa slowly turned back toward the edge of the bed. Someone else was sitting there. A woman, medium build, leopard print top, hair shoulder length, still, silent, facing away. Melissa whispered, "Emily?" The figure began to turn, halfway. Melissa shut her eyes. "I didn't want to see her face," she later admitted. She didn't scream, didn't move. Eventually, she fell asleep. In the morning, Emily said she dreamed someone sat on her bed. They checked out early. There was no police report filed, no official investigation, but Melissa did make informal inquiries. Front desk staff confirmed no reported disturbances in room 225 that week, no prior complaints logged in the system under that room number. A former employee, who asked not to be named, stated, "We get the occasional guest saying they felt something strange. It's a hotel. People dream weird." Both hotels showed no electronic lock override during their stays, no maintenance access, no adjacent room complaints. Melissa researched local history, no documented deaths in either room, no fires, no crimes publicly tied to those properties. Sleep specialists would later say the symptoms aligned strongly with parasomnias, especially under stress and sleep deprivation. But one detail remains difficult to categorize: Emily's dream. She independently described someone sitting on her bed the same night Melissa claimed to have seen the woman. Coincidence? Shared suggestion? Or something else? Sleep paralysis affects nearly 8% of the population. It can include tactile hallucinations, sensed presences, auditory whispers. Under that model, the first incident fits. The second is harder. Shared experiences are rare, but not impossible. Psychologists call it co-dreaming or suggestive recall. One person recounts a vivid event, the other's memory adapts subconsciously. Yet Melissa insists she did not tell Melissa about the woman until after Emily mentioned her dream. There's also the environmental factor. Hotels are transitional spaces. Strangers pass through daily. High turnover, emotional residue, at least in paranormal theory. Skeptics argue memory distortion fills gaps over time. Believers argue some places hold impressions. Neither hotel advertises paranormal history. Neither city lists those properties as haunted. Still, Melissa refuses room 214 and room 225, not out of fear, out of certainty. "I'm not crazy," she says. "I just don't ignore what I experience." And since January 2020, there have been no new incidents, no whispers, no weight on her back, no woman in leopard print. 2 hotels, 2 separate nights, 2 witnesses. No forced entry, no video evidence, no criminal explanation. Just pressure, breath, a voice in the dark, and a woman who almost turned her face. Was it neurological misfire amplified by exhaustion? Was it coincidence layered over imagination?